afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to All About Sports. We're going to do now our Sunday night football, in which the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills are going to take on one another. And this game is in Buffalo. It's going to be relatively cold. As we know, it's in New York, northern New York, so it's going to be relatively cold. The Pittsburgh Steelers come into this one 11-1 after losing to the nameless football team, as in the Washington football team, which nobody knows if it's in DC or the Pacific Northwest. We're not sure. And the Buffalo Bills came off a very encouraging win against the San Francisco 49ers. Don't look now, but they are still in first in the AFC East, but they are 9-3. And their three losses this season were a blowout by Tennessee earlier in the season, a loss by the Chiefs, and then a last-second Hail Mary throw by Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins, some miracle throw. So we are ready to see this action on Sunday Night Football. Definitely a good game to watch. Be sure to tune in for that one. Ryan, I'm going to start with you here. Can the Buffalo Bills beat the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Oh, without a doubt, man. My man Josh Allen, 4 touchdowns last time out against 49ers. I think this man has something to prove. The one thing that does worry me, though, is the Steelers, because they just lost to, like you said, an unknown football team. So they're going to have to come out, and a lot of people think that this team may be the worst 11-1 team. And I honestly agree with that. So I think me saying this is going to be one of the best Sunday Night Football games is just all about redemption. Can the Steelers come back and then win against a big Bills team, a really good Bills team in that? Josh Allen has been playing very good. Singletary, I bet you he's going to start running the ball all over the Steelers defense. Problem is, Steelers defense isn't bad, but the fact that they lost to that game against the Washington football team, that's really going to hurt them. So it's really just a redemption game for the Steelers. Are they going to come out and start being that team that was once 10-0? So we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Josh Allen, though, and the Bills are just going to – they could run away with this game.
Well, I got to ask Connor this, because Connor is the one that came on my radio show and said the Steelers should be number 4, as in the week before they lost to the won against the Baltimore Ravens, and the Tennessee Titans should be number 2. So, Connor, I'm sure that you don't have much hope for the Pittsburgh Steelers here?
No, they're going to lose. Like I said, they didn't deserve to be at your number 2 spot, and you thought you were being harsh with that. They're the worst 11-1 team ever. And it was pitiful to see them lose, and they're barely getting by. Their wins are based off of last minute things, or they beat the Ravens team, which is had COVID running through that team, and a lot of their wins they just don't deserve, and they shouldn't be where they are.
Ethan, that looks like you have very strong opinions on the Steelers take, so let's hear this.
I've said it once. You guys need to hold your horses. I said it on your show. You guys are saying like the worst 11-1 team. You got to give credit where the credit is due. The Pittsburgh Steelers are pretty much number 1 in almost every single defensive stat possible. They have given up the least amount of points in the entire league. They have the second best pass defense. They have the 6th best rushing defense, and they've given up the 3rd least total yards per game. This defense is able to shut opposing offenses down week after week. And Josh Allen has proven to struggle against better defenses. So that's why I'm saying that he's going to have a rougher game. Yes, the Buffalo's offense has had the 3rd best passing yards per game in the entire league so far this season. But I feel like Josh Allen, with his inconsistencies, will lead this Buffalo team into the ground on Sunday, because I feel like it will be a little bit harder for him. And I know all you guys are probably giving me some weird looks, as I am still taking Pittsburgh, even though because they are 11-1. Yes, they've had some great, they've had an easier schedule because they got to go up against the NFC least and the AFC South this year. But I still feel like they are better than what everyone's basically just jumped off and said that they're so bad. Well, I still think they're a good football team, regardless of what the one loss against the Washington football team by a total of 3 or 4 points. So I feel like that it's going to be a closer game than you guys think. Instead of your blowout or whatever, I feel like Pittsburgh is still going to be able to pull it off.
Well, no one said a blowout. No one said that, but I got you. The 2018 Bears, what carried them? The defense. And they were 12-4 And they were playing bad teams that season. So are you telling me that's not a good comparison to the Pittsburgh Steelers this season? Is that not a good comparison? Okay. And what happened in that first playoff game, or the wild card game rather? They lost. So that is exactly what's going to happen to the Pittsburgh Steelers if they keep this pathetic play up. I mean, if they don't get a bye the first round, oh man, I can totally see a Tennessee and Indianapolis just getting rid of them. It's that simple to me. But for this game, the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game. I really do. Let's see. Josh Allen has just been balling these last couple of weeks. So let's get some stats here, shall we? The total quarterback rating, he is the 6th best in the NFL. Completion percentage, 70%, the 4th best. Passing yards, 5th best. And passing touchdowns, tied for 6th. This guy is 24 years old, and he's ascending before our very eyes. He's also thrown 300 yards 6 times this season. And in 2 of those occasions, it was 400 against Seattle and Miami. This guy is no joke. They got a running game, but does Pittsburgh have a running game, Ethan? Do they have a running game?
Yes.
No, they don't. No, they don't. If they had a running game, I don't understand why Ben Roethlisberger has to pass 45 times, even with James Conner in the game. But that's not even the point. The point is Buffalo has Devin Singletary and Zach Moss for that running game. And don't forget how Josh Allen has mobility in escaping the pocket and extending plays. I mean, you have Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. Those are elite targets on this team. And this is the same quarterback who went from, in one season, a 58% completion rate to 70%. That is a huge improvement, a vast improvement. And I think that is a lot of credit due to Sean McDermott. That guy has definitely helped Josh Allen. We were definitely questioning his ability last season, whether or not he can even win games. But now I feel like this guy can actually come into the playoffs and win a game. Because last playoff game against the Houston Texans, he looked like trash. I mean, it was that bad.
They lost.
Right. But the thing is now it is a new season. The Houston Texans, the last time I checked, are not going to make the playoffs. So you got Josh Allen to worry about. If this is my opinion, the Buffalo Bills are the 2nd best team in the AFC, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a bold take. That is
a bold take. I know.
I'll tell you right now, if I was anyone in the NFL and I was have to face the Buffalo Bills, I'd be scared out of my mind. Josh Allen keeps getting better. Weekend after weekend, he just keeps showing what he can do. And let's not forget, the Steelers, I don't think this guy gets much credit. They're winning because their coach is Mike Tomlin. That man is a very, very good coach. And like you said, Ethan, at the beginning of the season, they were facing teams like the NFL least and stuff like that. So Ben Roethlisberger was basically having a party on that field. It was easy wins for him. And then the tough wins they had, the tough games they had to face, they faced the Browns. They didn't have Nick Chubb. And then, like Connor said, they basically faced the practice squad of the Ravens. So this team is now up against an actual good team. And I think Josh Allen, like Lucas said, this man's just been balling. He's getting better weekend after weekend. He's a scary man. That Bills defense is also starting to get good. They're about to make the playoffs, and it really just depends. I think they'll win the division, but Miami's right behind them. That could go either way. But all I'm saying right now is Josh Allen and the Bills are a scary team to face right now.
I got to add this part about the Baltimore Ravens. They didn't have Lamar Jackson. They didn't have Mark Ingram. They didn't have J.K. Dobbins. They had Justice Hill as their 2nd running back behind Gus Edwards. You know how pathetic that is? And RG3 got hurt. So you have Trace McSorley.
A legend.
That game. He is a legend. I'll give you that. But, I mean, it was embarrassing. I mean, that defense basically prevented the Ravens from winning that game. I mean, now you have defensive questions now on the Steelers. Bush has been out. Bud Dupree is now out for the year because of an ACL tear. And now you have, what's his name? Spillane with the high ankle sprain. So you have questions now at the linebacker position. We know what Minkah Fitzpatrick can do. We know what TJ Watt can do. But the question now is that defense going to be stable enough to hold up their fort against the offense, because the offense is having tough time scoring. It's every time Big Ben having to pass. He passed 53 times against the Baltimore Ravens because they couldn't run the football.
I guarantee you there will be a pick 6 sometime in this game, whether it's Big Ben or it's Ben Roethlisberger throwing a pick 6, but I think it's going to be Josh Allen. because I know you guys have been saying he's been having a great season. Well, let's go back to 2 weeks ago when Josh Allen was up against the Chargers, who are actually one of the best secondaries in the league, similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go check out his stats. Oh yeah, 157 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Is that MVP top 5 quarterback worthy against the 4-7 Chargers that are just a disaster of a team?
Wait,
and that was also in Buffalo. No.
Who said MVP? No one said MVP.
I'm saying that is a top 5 quarterback who's been getting better every single week. That's
a top 5 quarterback.
Be careful of that because he is extremely inconsistent. Josh Allen is, and his performances are, you don't know what you're going to get. You're either going to get the 4 touchdown Josh Allen, or you're going to get the 3 interception, 3 touchdown Josh Allen, or the 3 interception, 2 touchdown Josh Allen, who ends up throwing like that last minute devastating interception at the game. He makes bad decisions towards the end of the games, especially when they're closer. So I'm saying be weary of this game. If you guys are really taking Buffalo, I'm saying be careful with your choices, because
it almost makes me feel like you're comparing Josh Allen to Carson Wentz. I mean, that is not even a fair comparison at all.
I never did. I'm just saying he has an interception and turnover problem late in games.
That is literally Carson Wentz. Okay.
Well, Carson Wentz the games are never close.
But this is true. But I mean, the problem is, Ethan, here. I mean, I understand that the Steelers are 11-1, but they sure aren't playing like 11-1 team. They got to be playing way better. Okay. I understand you blown out the Browns earlier in the season, but that's because the Browns weren't on their A game yet. We saw that. But the other teams you're beating, I mean, there's nothing really to brag about. I mean, the NFC least, come on. I mean,
the Ravens when Lamar Jackson was playing early in the season.
That was earlier in the season.
When they were supposedly better than they are right now.
Well, that I guess you can argue that, but the thing is, I'm telling you right now, this is not going to be a blowout. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that I feel like the Bills, I think they will win. I'm going to say by 3 points. I'm not saying it's by a field goal. I'm going to say it's by 3 points.
I'm going to go with a touchdown. I just think that's how the game's going to go. And I kind of just want to go back on Ethan's thing of saying how Josh Allen can't play good in the late quarters, but what did he do against the Cardinals? And that Arizona Cardinal team was pretty dang good. They should have won that game. Hail Mary can go either way. And unfortunately, DeAndre Hopkins basically just caught it between 2 people. I don't know how that's possible, but he just completely just did that. And that's a game that Buffalo should have won. So if it comes down the wire, I think Josh Allen still has that clutch in him. And it's not going to come down to another Hail Mary try. And if it does, if Buffalo's winning, they'll win. There's no way the Steelers can come out with a Hail Mary. I mean, it's possible. Like I said, it's Hail Mary, so anything can happen. But I just think Josh Allen is still that clutch player. I know you may not see that in him because he is having games where he's only throwing like a couple interceptions, and then he has like a game where he throws a lot of touchdowns. So he is unpredictable. But I do think in this game, he's going to shine, man. I really do. After that 4 touchdown game against 49ers, I think he's going to just come in with more momentum, and they're just going to beat the Steelers.
Well, as soon as I saw that game end with the 49ers, I knew one thing and one thing only. My boy Connor. He was so upset that Nick Mullins lost. I guarantee you he was so upset. So, Connor, I got to ask you this question. Do you think Josh Allen will be able to somewhat replicate that success against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Oh yeah, I think he'll be able to do that. I think my prediction for the game is probably about a 3-point lead. It'll probably come down to a field goal. I'll say that.
Okay.
I think it'll be close. But Josh Allen definitely, like Ethan was saying, you know, he's not Carson Wentz level of, you know, bad decisions, but he's young. He needs to watch himself, but I think he can pull it out. So.
All right. Well, Ethan, any last minute thoughts?
Pittsburgh's gonna win.
Okay. Well, we got 3 Bills, 1 Pittsburgh. Game is on set at 7:20 Sunday Night Football. We shall see what happens, but these are our predictions, so we will find out what happens.